If you've been rubbing onion juice on your scalp and cutting your hair every full moon to ensure that you grow longer hair, this video is for you. Today I'm busting 5 of the biggest hair growth myths and revealing what actually works, backed by science and experience. So stay tuned all the way to the end. You don't want to miss one of these. Right now, there's so much fluff online about how to grow your hair longer, how to retain length, the magic pill, the magic serum. Half of it is just stuff to get views, and the other half is just marketing for brands. So I've done my own research over the years of trying to grow my hair longer, and it is finally getting longer. Myth number 1. Trimming your hair makes your hair grow faster. I must say I believed this one for most of my life growing up because that's what everybody said. If you cut your hair, it's gonna grow faster. To be honest, the reason why I believe it is because it seems like it's true, right? Like most people that you see when they cut their hair grows so much faster. Even myself, when I cut my hair, I thought it grew so much faster. So I'm like, obviously, it's true. It is just common sense. Actually, is it? No, it's not. This is the case of correlation versus causation. Your hair gets longer faster when you trim it, but the cause is not that the trim stimulated your scalp follicles to make your hair grow faster. Your hair grows at the roots, it doesn't grow at the ends, so there's no way that cutting your hair at the ends can increase the rate of your hair growing at your scalp. But this is how it actually works. The reality of why your hair gets longer after you trim your hair is because the reason why a lot of us struggle to get longer hair is because we do not retain as much length as possible because the rate of our breakage is either higher or the same rate as the hair growth. So if your hair grows 1 inch a month, which is, it's actually more like a half or a quarter of an inch a month. If your hair grows that much a month and then your hair breaks off the same amount in a month, your hair is going to stay the same length. And split ends and damaged ends are one of the #1 causes for your ends breaking off. So if you cut those ends off and now your ends are fresh, they are healthy, and then you're taking care of your ends after the trim as well, you are going to retain length so much faster, and that's why it seems like your hair is growing faster, because you are retaining length faster. Combine your trims with taking excellent care of your scalp, and that together is what's going to get your hair to grow faster. Myth number 2 is that rice water is going to give you instant hair growth. I'm talking an inch in a week. Let's talk about why people believe this, especially as someone who has done multiple rice water videos and who loves to use rice water in my own personal routine. First of all, a lot of people's hair lacks the vital nutrients that it needs, whether it's coming from their diet or the lack of using correct products for their hair. And rice water contains protein, inositol, and a whole bunch of antioxidants and other nutrients that our hair loves. This means that if your hair has been in a bad state and you start using rice water, your hair can drastically improve in a very short space of time. It also makes the hair stronger, healthier, and less prone to breakage, and less breakage means that you retain hair growth faster, which means whatever the genetic rate or whatever the current rate of your hair growth is, if your hair stops breaking as much, you will retain more length and get the appearance of your hair growing faster in a very short space of time. And this is what makes a lot of people think that the rice water grows your hair so fast. But let's get into what's actually happening. The truth is that the rice doesn't usually make your hair grow any faster. It's just helping you retain length faster, which gives the illusion of you growing hair faster. What will help is if you always combine your rice water with a moisturizing treatment, because rice water is a little bit high in protein. It also has starch, which can make your hair feel dry and brittle. And so if you're on the complete opposite spectrum and you believe that rice water breaks your hair, first off, start by using fermented rice water, because in my opinion, it makes a massive difference compared to like instant rice water, the one you can use as soon as you make it. I prefer a minimum of 24 hours. But for me, my personal minimum is 5 days of fermentation. But if you have to use it, you're like dying to use it, at least let it ferment for 24 hours and then use it. It will make a massive difference. And combining this with a really good moisturizing deep conditioner is what's going to actually help you retain a lot more length so that your hair can grow faster. The best recommendation for everyone is to just leave this in your hair for 20 to 30 minutes and then rinse it out. A few people can get away with leaving it in their hair until their next wash day or overnight or for an hour. But because it's one of those products that I like to compare to coconut oil, like it works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. 20 minutes is what I found is the happy amount, the happy medium that works for everyone, regardless of your hair type. Myth 3 is that you need to oil your hair daily for the best results. Let's talk about why people believe this. I've actually done a 30-day oiling challenge before, and I did see great results, and I think this is why a lot of people believe that this works. Firstly, making a drastic beneficial change to your routine will always make a drastic difference, especially if you're going like from nothing to a big change. So if you oil your hair like once a month, whenever it is you remember, and then you start oiling your hair every single day, obviously you are going to see a massive difference. But just because you've seen a great difference, it doesn't mean that oiling your hair every single day is what's actually doing the trick. Think of it like exfoliating your skin. If you've never done a chemical exfoliation on your skin before, or maybe not even a physical one before, and you start using one of those enzyme powder washes or something like a glycolic acid, you'll notice instant results like overnight. The first night you use it, it's gonna be amazing. And so your thought is, oh my gosh, if I use this every single day, my skin is going to feel this amazing every single day. And what might happen is that you could do this every single day for a whole month and your skin feels amazing. And then a month later, all of a sudden, you're like, why is my skin freaking out? Why am I all of a sudden getting breakouts? Why is my skin peeling? Why is my skin feeling dry? And it's because you over exfoliated your skin. And this is the same thing that you can do with oiling your scalp every single day. You could see short-term beneficial results, but in the long term, it's going to hurt you. The truth is that excess oils can eventually add a lot of buildup to your hair. They can clog your follicles on your scalp, which can lead to excess shedding. It can lead to your hair not growing in as healthy as it could because your follicles are blocked with so much oil. So here's what you can actually do. The best way to use oil is just to use it 1 to 2 times a week. Some people can get away with using it 3 times a week, but that is the max. If you use it 1 to 2 times a week, every week for a month, you will see the same results and in the long run, even more beneficial results than oiling your hair every single day. So if you want to stimulate your scalp every single day, what will actually work is doing a scalp massage every single day, because that doesn't have any side effects if you do a scalp massage correctly. And then once or twice a week, you can do the same scalp massage, but incorporate an oil this time. 3 times is the max amount I would suggest to oil your scalp. And if you feel like oiling your scalp hasn't worked for you in the past, it's possibly because you have been doing it too much, or you're also using too much oil. The way to know if you're using too much oil or not is when you're done oiling your scalp, when you do a scalp massage, if you have oil on your fingers, like your hands look oily, it means you're using too much oil. If occasionally, once a month, maybe you could do like a hot oil treatment where you use a lot more oil than usual, that's fine. You can leave it in your hair overnight and then wash it out the next day or a couple hours before your wash day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you oil your scalp and you leave the oil in your hair, it's best to just use a very small amount, like 2 droppers full is probably max enough. Myth number 4 is that hair growth gummies make your hair grow super fast. And this is one I'm excited to talk about because I will tell you why this one is very believable. I think the main reason why we believe that hair growth gummies work is because they are advertised to us in a way that's very dramatic, and it's with people that usually have already a fast rate of hair growth, and maybe they had something else. Like you see these videos of someone talking about how they transformed their hair and how it grew so much faster because they were taking all these supplements, when the real issue is just that they were a bleach blonde and the bleach was severely damaging their hair, and then they stopped bleaching their hair, so their hair started growing at their normal rate and everything was perfectly fine, and it was simply easy because they stopped using bleach. It wasn't the gummies that worked. Another thing is gummies are easy to take. They taste really good, so you most likely won't forget to take them. And it's just a very fun experience. If someone told me that I could simply take a gummy that tastes like candy and it would make my hair grow, I'm obviously gonna do it. There's no such thing as a magic hair growth pill, but let's get into what's actually happening, the truth of what happens when you take these hair growth gummies. So here's the thing. A lot of people are deficient in biotin, in vitamin D, because either you just don't go outside, you have an office job, you barely see the sun, you live in an extremely cold climate, you may not eat enough red meat or just other things that are rich in iron like spinach. You also just may have an overall terrible diet and you barely absorb whatever nutrients that you take because you're only eating fast food and you're only eating here and there. And your hair is not a vital organ. So if you're not taking enough of the essential nutrients that your body needs, your hair is barely going to have anything. So if you take a hair growth gummy that contains iron, vitamin D, and biotin, you may see drastic results in your hair growth. That's not necessarily saying that the hair growth gummies made your hair grow so fast. That's actually a telling sign that you are severely lacking in these nutrients in your diet. And so what you should focus on is actually looking to foods that have these supplements. And then you can start looking into extra supplements. Like if you live in a very cold climate and you go for a checkup at the hospital, you can let them check your vitamin D levels, your iron levels, and then maybe you need to take an iron supplement and a vitamin D supplement. And always remember that supplements are to supplement your diet. They are not to replace your diet. If you're lacking in iron, if you're lacking in protein, your first thought shouldn't be, I should start drinking a protein shake. It should be, maybe I should incorporate a little bit more eggs and chicken and spinach into my diet. And then you can add some supplements, but there is no magic hair growth pill. Also, you'll notice that after a while, your hair is going to get into a steady, regular hair growth rhythm, which means you probably had stunted hair growth before because your diet was so bad. And then once it's fixed, and then your hair starts growing at a normal rate, it's not going to be drastic anymore because now your hair is growing at a normal, healthy rate, and you actually have extra nutrients that are going to your hair to grow your hair. Myth number 5 is that protective styles are going to automatically grow your hair and help you have longer, fuller, thicker hair. And as someone who swears by protective styles, let me tell you why this is a myth in most cases. First of all, not all hairstyles that have your hair tucked away are protective styles. Just because your hair is in cornrows or box braids or any other kinds of braids doesn't mean it's protecting your hair. Some of these protective styles are actually what's damaging your hair. But let's talk about why people believe it. Most of us as young children had much longer hair than it is in our adult lives. And something that is consistent is that our parents just put our hair in braids or twists and left our hair for like the entire week or the entire month. And you're like, my hair was so much longer when I was younger. My hair was always in a protective style. And when you see people online that usually have really long hair, a lot of them say that they protective style all the time. So you're like, obviously it works, right? Not necessarily. A protective style will only help you if the style is actually a protective style and you take care of your hair while it's in the protective style. So for me, my favorite protective style of this year has just been large braids on stretched hair. So I blow dry my hair, I put my hair in like 10, maybe 12 braids, and I keep those braids in for like 2 to 3 weeks. And then I repeat my routine. But within those 2 to 3 weeks that my hair is braided, I am still washing my hair in my braids. I am oiling my ends every day. They are very low tension. My hair is blow dried, so it's very low manipulation. I am really taking care of my hair, and then I'm not doing anything to it. I'm not doing any fancy hairstyles. While it's in the protective style, I either just tie it, put a hat on, and go to the gym, or sometimes I'll wear a wig over it. So I'm still taking care of my hair. But if you just abandon your hair in the protective style and forget about it until it's time to put your hair in the protective style again, or you do protective styles where you have to like dip your hair in boiling water, you may actually be burning the ends of your hair, and you might be wondering why protective styles don't work for you. It's because your protective style is not a protective style. Maybe it's just a hairstyle and there's nothing wrong with that, but you should know the difference between a hairstyle that's just for fashion and one that's actually protecting your hair. So what will actually work for you is making sure that your protective style is low manipulation, low tension, you're taking care of your scalp and your hair shaft while it is in the protective style. You are washing your hair while it is in the protective style. So now that we've busted the top 5 most popular myths, let's talk about what actually works for hair growth in 3 simple steps. Firstly, scalp health. You should ensure that your scalp is always clean, moisturized, and massaged. I recommend a short scalp massage every single day, even just for 5 minutes. It makes a massive difference compared to not doing anything at all. And if you want to take it a step further, you could try low-level laser therapy or LED therapy. The second pillar, if you want longer hair, is to focus on length retention, because something that's not talked about enough is that your hair is always growing. Even if your hair has been the exact same length for the last 5 years, your hair is always growing. It's just that you're either breaking it faster than it is growing or at the same rate that it is growing. So if you want longer hair, try and focus on length retention by using bond building treatments, protein treatments, anything that can strengthen your hair shaft. Focus on keeping your hair moisturized and hydrated by using great conditioners like the Amika Soul Food Nourishing Mask, and focusing on maintaining your ends by trimming them, by using an oil almost every single night, and being very gentle with your hair. And the third pillar, which is going to impact the rate of your hair growth the most, is to focus on your internal health. Aim for getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night. Drink your water. Eat a healthy, balanced diet that contains protein, fats, and carbs. If you have severely cut out carbs out of your diet recently, because I know, skinny talk is a viral thing right now, that might be why your hair is falling out. It literally doesn't have the energy to grow, so it just falls out. Aside from using oils, make sure you protect your ends at night using things like a satin bonnet and a satin pillowcase. And please avoid tight hairstyles and excessive heat. And excessive heat is something I consider as using heat on your hair more than once a week. Which myth did you believe until now, or is there one that I haven't mentioned before that you want to mention in the comment section below? I would love to know. Also, let me know if there's any other myths you have questions about or would like me to debunk in the next video. Hit my face right there to subscribe if you didn't in the beginning. Watch this video for something special just for you. Hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post a video. And also consider joining my membership if you'd like some special videos that are tailored just to my members, lives that are special only for you, and I'll take all your personal requests there as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!